Hi, my name is Gregory Diaz, and I'm a graphic designer who loves words and wordplay.
Yo, this one is just so that you know. Do you believe in magic?
Art to me is emotion, but even more than that, art to me is the story of how certain emotions came to be. It's not just what you see as the pictures, what the artist put, but there's a whole thought process that goes behind them moving their hand in a certain way, or why this design is red and that design is yellow, or whatever. It's a whole story, and when you really break down the art that you see, you can actually begin to kind of take a trip into the artist's mind and see kind of how their mind processes things, because that's really what art represents mostly to me. So the way I come up with my ideas, it really varies from idea to idea. Obviously, I think most people could imagine that. But mainly what I do is I try to find a lot of inspiration in other artists and what they've done. And maybe on my own, I'll kind of imitate their style just to master it. But then when I want to put something out there for the world to see, what I'll do is I'll incorporate their style with mine somehow and change it up a little bit, and that way we get something that's fresh. Because I don't like to copy styles. If I do, I'll always credit the artist that I copied it from. But with that being said, it's kind of impossible not to copy a style, because there's been so many things done out there. Even the freshest style can be traced back to something else, and that's just kind of basic knowledge of the way things evolve. So my artistic process is typically kind of not slow, but very well thought out. It usually starts with inspiration, whether that inspiration be naturally, just naturally occurring in me from something that I've seen, or whether it be kind of implanted in me because someone wants me to get an idea out. I have to feel inspiration, or else the project just isn't going to work out the way I want it to. My second step would be to think about it. I go deep in thought. Typically I'll kind of just either walk back and forth in my studio or sit down for, it could even be hours on end, and just kind of bask in the idea and visualize it. That way I can kind of, it gives me a mental image to play around with before actually playing around with the physical image, which brings us into the next step, which would be to plan it out like on paper or with whatever material I'm going to be using. I'll sketch out like a whole draft, and then practice any new letters that maybe I haven't done before, or perhaps a whole new design. And then after I've planned it out, what I want to do is execute it. And what goes along with executing it is a lot of prayer, because I mess up a lot. And it kind of sucks to mess up at the end and then have to start all over again, but that's just kind of what goes in with being a perfectionist and really wanting everything to be the way that I envisioned it in the first place. So living in the Bay Area has a big influence on my artwork, mainly because the Bay Area is already in itself a really artsy place. I mean, you have Oakland, Berkeley, San Francisco, San Jose, and those all have art in its rawest form, which would be like street art, or at least I see that as art in its rawest form, with street art and graffiti and all that. But they also have a lot of art centers and art clubs and stuff like that. So obviously there's a lot of artsy people around me at all times living here in the Silicon Valley. But another way that it influences me, which is kind of on a deeper level, is the progression that you see here. And this is the technology center, so all this technology that's coming out here is clean and crisp, and it's to the point, and that's kind of what I've learned people want. So that's kind of swayed my art in that direction. Being when it comes to like typography and text, I tend not to use serifs. I want it to look plain, very easily legible, and high contrast, to the point with the message. But then also the artistic part of the Bay Area gets into me, where I kind of have that message maybe be abstract and really up for interpretation.
Would I be if not standing on the stage, spilling my heart out on this page, pay-per viewing movies and scrubbing toilet seats to get paid? Do you believe in magic? I know I do. Only thing better than dreaming is seeing it all come true. I know you know that I know what you like. You love